King Sakawa, or how a stalker led me to uncovering an executable in a troll farm on the Clock app.
I'm calling him King Sakawa now in my head, because that's what this feels like, a twisted digital and spiritual war room where someone or something is pulling the strings. Sakawa, the synthesis of internet scams and African witchcraft, targets foreigners, mostly white, but for some reason they began pursuing me as their next victim. It started 6 months ago. The events, which are still ongoing, has this New York transplant in LA, a writer who cut her teeth in the gaming world in a trance. It all started when I folded, seduced by the lure of TikTok due to an industry-wide retraction in film production. The app's mechanics, how it gamified connection in a way Facebook and Twitter never could, fascinated me. But something went wrong, very wrong, and I think I may have been used as a conduit by a Sakawa. So now I must warn others. My For You feed coughed up a video of a man, somewhere far from California, performing a ritual. As I scrolled, I became alarmed by my feed. More of the same, unfamiliar faces, places, and rituals. I was not amused. I did not approve of these followers. I'm Black American with Southern roots and a Christian, but my experience with the occult is limited to production design gigs, where black magic is a plot device, not a reality. It's hard to forget the hurt and shame the country felt by the election results. I was hurting myself, so I reacted the way any art director would process trauma. I turned my TikTok page into a meme account. Within the first 3 days, I went viral twice. Within the week, 4 times. The last 2 memes, TikTok muted the posts. I was confused. There was no cursing, nudity, or anything offensive, yet the posts were muted. But then my account started getting swarmed. King Sakawa is very theatrical. He lined up his soldiers and readied for an attack. By the end of November, my inbox was flooded with fake accounts asking me the same 2 questions. Where are you from? And what is your name? One of the Sakawa, end quote, liked, end quote, my content and sent me numerous DMs that I left unanswered. But that day was different. I clicked on a video he sent. That was all it took. For the next 2.5 weeks, my TikTok became a feedback loop where my posts bore other content creators' ID and vice versa. My digital identity was being hacked. TikTok support, as usual, was unsupportive. Finally, I got a reset, and my account was restored, wounded but still intact. I started watching my account like a hawk. The numbers didn't lie. I was being swarmed by a hive of Sakawa. They created a system where they searched my page for, end quote, liked, end quote, content. They swarmed the accounts of the more popular posts from old comments, buried deep on other content creators' pages, that would suddenly resurface, racking up likes, burying my new content. King Sakawa was orchestrating this, systematically silencing my voice. Close encounter, cue the voodoo priest. I like to spread love. When someone likes my post, I reciprocate. One account liked over a dozen of my posts in a row. I visited his account, and that's when I saw it again. The Halloween filters, the distorted faces, the scary clown eyes. At first, I shrugged it off. Some people are obsessed with Halloween. But then I got a DM. I really like your posts. I replied, thanks. He responded by sending a digital curse. And then they came. 15 of them at least. Voodoo priests and priestesses, hexing me on my meme account. Some in DMs, some in posts, collages of images with my name twisted into them. Others with sound and visual assaults, digital weapons aimed to elicit fear, make me bow down or out. I know how insane this sounds, but I have the receipts. Don't call it a comeback. Meme culture moves fast. When Elon Musk's Adrian Dittman alias was exposed, an anagram that translates to in data rant mind, I couldn't resist. I was inspired, and a Dear Evan Hansen GIF series was born. Even Adrian Dittman liked 2 of my posts. The hexes stopped. The DMs ceased. The app, for the first time in months, left me alone. Christmas and New Year's came early. I was content. It proved to be a temporary retreat to regroup. They returned in January, angrier and more persistent. When black presenting accounts didn't work, they went white. When I refused the men trying to romance me, they sent me women. Requests from fake OnlyFans accounts, slightly overweight, voluptuous white women, all vying for my attention and my identity. I blocked over 1,000 accounts. I had to shut down all contact, but I kept documenting. 2 figures stood out. A musician calling himself Flavo, you are of, fill in the blank, or Chinidu Akoli, a man with 1,000 faces and 24 accounts, and counting, all bearing his image. Now that's a lot of flavor. and a voodoo priest, replete with traditional clothing, with the handle Al-Haji. 3 days ago, Hinge, of all places, flagged one of my matches as a scammer. Someone I didn't even remember matching with. You probably gave me a bad vibe, something I never ignore. The discovery's one. I learned in my research that romance scammers are usually teenagers and young adults. Foot soldiers for an older male, usually in his late 20s to early 30s, who rose through the ranks from cafe boy. A moniker given to the teens because they frequently use cafes for their internet service to scam runners. I believe the Flavor King is their leader, allegedly. Romance scamming is actually a form of data collection used to run a business email compromise scam. A scam where they send illicit emails to companies or cozy up with employees with access to the company's billing or funds in order to commit the scam. Often done through emails that look similar to clients' emails or dating apps. One such scam almost defrauded a European bank in 2022 and successfully scammed Toyota of $37 million. It has occurred to me that I may be the distraction, and that one of the producers I've worked with is the actual target. 3. Most of Russia's troll farms are in Africa. What is going on with my TikTok? That's complicated. I've broken down this issue to 3 likely scenarios. A. I inadvertently took an account from a Sakawa. Sakawa is a cult, and their leaders have a penchant for violence and revenge. They're also narcissistic, often leading with an iron fist. But with their cult spread out, they've innovated cult leadership through the internet, creating accounts that will reinforce their leadership by disseminating witchcraft posts. The Halloween accounts as a means to reel in unruly Sakawa. Because their leadership heavily relies on their ability to exert and display strength. They're trying to make an example out of me, or they think I'm a scammer gone rogue. And with every voodoo curse and attempts to hack me or get me to leave TikTok, their leadership wanes. In short, I've pissed off a narcissist. B. There are no Sakawa, just haters. Simply, I'm not rich, but I am a creative professional with an elite education. Considering the poverty that many Sakawa must endure to rise up from the slums, that can cause envy in some. C. The most chilling theory. I stumbled upon a coordinated zero-day exploit. Cybernews reporter Ernestas Napries wrote an article about hackers on WhatsApp tricking users into triggering executables by sending files, PDFs, or images that look like a picture or a document. Essentially, it's a spoofing scam. Remember when I mentioned I got a DM that said, "You didn't respond to my message?" I clicked a video file that triggered a 2.5-week ordeal, where my page appeared as if I posted other users' content and vice versa. If you open such a file, the app will use the filename extension to handle it, triggering the unintentional execution of an arbitrary code. It wasn't until I read that article that I realized what I believed happened to me. I was played by a Sakawa puppet master. I couldn't believe it. I'm very tech-savvy and a New Yorker, which has its own street cred, but I was still fooled into executing this code. Considering the amount of money to be made on the app with some content creators making upwards of $1 million, it is an incentive to execute this type of coordinated plan. The implications are terrifying. TikTok, with its addictive algorithm, a precursor code rooted in the Cambridge Analytica scandal, was the perfect vector for mass manipulation. Imagine your favorite influencer urging you to attend an event, visit a website, swarm an account, only to discover they never posted it. A virus is unleashed, 1 million devices compromised, or worse, fire sale, Scenario, a digital apocalypse that brings down our communications, our infrastructure, our very government. The latest season of Black Mirror, with its chilling plaything episode, felt like a warning. Blocked accounts as of December 2020, for I don't know what's happening. Is it a vendetta, a new breed of BC scam, or something far more sinister? But after 6 months of silent observation, I'm breaking my silence. This is a warning. Stay woke in these digital streets.
If you would like to see my receipts, please feel free to visit my Substack at zuzubel.substack.com, where I provide screen recordings, screenshots, as well as 2 videos that document all of the blocked accounts.